Welcome to Wisdom Woman podcast. I believe that is in constant change and growth, not in perfection, that we find happiness. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking with top performance professionals about tools, techniques, new ideas on how to develop your communication skills, use your creative thinking, be a team player, manage your tasks like a pro, be motivated, become an expert on relationships, and a problem solver. Everything you need to be 5 stars in all areas of your life. My intention is to help you develop your skills and find balance between your professional and personal life. My name is Bettina Meyer-Flug, and I hope I can be your trusted advisor. Public speaking is an important skill for career prospects and leadership positions, but many people tend to avoid it because it generates anxiety. So I have been reflecting on the importance of woman voice in business, politics, the media, and the community in general. In my role as a speaker, executive coach, and a business consultant, I come across a lot of women who lack the confidence to deliver a presentation. As a result, it's really hard for them to talk about their business at networking events or even voice their thoughts in a meeting. But it's time for more women to develop their confidence and skills to speak in public. And here is why, in my opinion. First of all, we need more women in senior positions. And people who can present confidently are in better positions to attract opportunity for their career advancement. Females entrepreneurs can grow their business and establish themselves as experts by speaking at events to promote their company and deliver a confident pitch of sales, funding, and investment. The second reason is to influence others. If you want to make a difference in the world or even your immediate circle, you need to influence the people around you. You can achieve far more with others by going it alone. Being able to clearly, credibly, and confidently speak in public will gain you support of the people who want to help you achieve your mission. The third reason, to share your message. Your ideas really matter. The world needs to hear them. Speaking in public helps you share your message with a wide audience, whether there is live in person or in camera or distributed through various digital platforms. The fourth reason is to develop your confidence. You might be highly competent, but competence combined with confidence will get you much further in life. Developing your public speaking skills help to strengthen your confidence and build your self-esteem. To more, put yourself out of there and practice hearing your own voice speaking about the things that matter to you, the more you will improve. And when you are confident in your ability to speak clearly, calmly, and professionally, you will start to believe in yourself and your message even more. Therefore, you're likely to share it more widely. As we established earlier, your voice and your ideas needs to be heard. That's why I invited Amanda Few to be here with us today. Amanda Few is an award-winning speaker and keynote speaker coach. She's the founder of She Speaks, a group to empower women speakers, and a Biz West 40 under 40 winners for local leadership work. Her clients have spoken on stages worldwide, such as TEDx, Harvard, and Oxford University. Amanda specializes in helping you to take your message off the stage and into the hearts and lives of your audience. Amanda, welcome to our podcast. Tell me a little bit more. How did you start working as a speaker coach?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Bettina. It's so wonderful to talk to your people who are out there changing the world, one person at a time. And speaking as a way to change the world more than one person at a time, if you can use your voice to get up on a stage and kind of do that one to many transformation. I got involved in public speaking, gosh, at a young age as a camp counselor, actually. My parents own a child care center and they have camps in the summer that I would work there, in my high school days when school is out. And, I just got all the attention because I was the tallest and the loudest and the oldest person in the room, and I could tell people what to do. And I think that's when I really first felt the power of having powerful words and moving a group of people to do something. I really do. I think it goes all the way back to that. But fast forward a few years when I was embarking on my marketing coach career. I was setting out to be a marketing coach, and I started this networking group. I was the young kid among four women who started it. I was in my 20s, and they were all a lot more experienced in business, but they all, knew how to do all the logistics. And when we were in the planning meeting, they just said, well, who wants to lead the meeting? And I didn't have anything on my list to do. So I said, well, I'll do that. I'll lead the meeting. Sure. Why not? And I thought it was just going to be, kind of sitting at the front of the room with a clipboard. But what it ended up being was I got to lead activities. I got to bring some games to this networking group. I got to facilitate them getting to know each other and asking them icebreaker questions and things like that. And it lit me up, Bettina. I could not wait for this group to start every week. I was so excited to be facilitating connections. Friendships were made, business was done, people were sharing deep things in this networking group. And that really showed me that, wow, this is a powerful place to be, at the front of the room, guiding other people to express themselves differently and connect differently.
Amanda, you won't believe, but my story is similar. My parents used to have a summer camp. Can you believe
No.
that? Yes,
Oh
on the
my gosh.
and I was attending to the summer camps every summer and winter. But when I decided to go to college, I decided to study hotel management. And my father said, why don't you run our summer camp? And I said, okay, do you think I can do it? I will do it. Okay. Then I start leading, and I lead this company for 6 years. And every time we received a group, because we had school groups, company groups, at the end of the weekend or the week they stay there, because we operated during the year as well, we had to give a speech to say goodbye and to make them cry and think about the experience they had. And my father was a very good public speaker, and he taught me, you have to do one. I said,
thrown in
and
the fire.
And I learned by doing that, the closing of the events. And when I graduated in my hotel management school, the final project was to create a hotel and do the grand opening of the hotel event. So instead of going in front of the audience and talk about how our hotel is going to be, we decided to do an event. So I started saying, welcome, we have our teacher, here. Thank you for attending for our opening, and thank you for you to being here. I was like a speaker at the event.
Yeah,
And we had
great.
all the students delivering cocktails and food. And I recorded a video about it. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. I said, hey, I think I can use my voice.
That is awesome. I have actually seen maybe about 50% of the speakers that I work with, they got thrown into it. And then they had to do it, just like you and I. They didn't know how it would go, but at the end they didn't die. And so they realized the power. And sometimes I think more people, more especially women, would benefit from kind of getting thrown in the fire sometimes. Just go out there and try it and notice that you survive.
Yeah, I
It's
have to
okay.
tell you another story that happened. I said, I have to get better on this thing of speaking, because every time I start, I have this feeling on my gut and I feel so bad. It's so hard how to get rid of this feeling. So I enrolled myself in a public speaking training in Brazil that lasts like a year. And we met one weekend every month. And at the end, we had a big presentation. And I practiced a lot at this event. It was really, really helpful. And I think everybody should do any type of training just to try to control your feelings. You will never be able to get rid of them, but to control them and know about them, how to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Absolutely.
podcast is a huge challenge for me. I'm using this podcast to develop my own skills in a second language. That's a big
Mm.
challenge. And I think
I
women
admire you for
are
that.
Thank you. I think that women are often underrepresented in decision-making roles. So the more women can clearly and credibly and convincingly present their ideas to different audience, the more likely they will achieve, we will all achieve a gender balance in public debates and even professionally. That's why I think it's so important. In your opinion, why are women speakers so needed right now?
Oh my gosh, women speakers are so needed on the stage right now. Let me tell you a statistic that got me really fired up, especially about women speakers and why I started a group just for women. Did you know that the ratio of men on stage to women on stage in general is still about three quarters men, one quarter women in
Oh my
general?
God.
Now, in conferences where the majority of the audience is women, sometimes 100% women, when you just look at those conferences, the ratio is still two men to every one woman on a stage. Even TEDx, even TED itself, even these big name stages that are have their eye on equality, they still hire more men than women to speak on stages. And that turned my blood, you know, boiling. I was just like, we have got to get women trained up using their voice to be powerful on stage, be memorable on stage, be irresistible on stage, and speak up to get the stages, to get hired for the stages. So, yeah, that's why I think we need more women speakers. And the more women we see speaking powerfully and sharing their own stories that match our stories, that's what's so cool about a stage is when you hear a story, you see a woman up there being her badass self, flaws and all, you know, you get to see she's not perfect up there. We're not trying to be perfect on the stage. You do not have to be poised and polished and never say an when you're on a stage. You really don't. We're not looking for perfection. What we're looking for as an audience on stage, we want to see ourselves and we want to see your brilliance. When we see both of those together, that is empowering in the audience. We stand up and say, oh my gosh, I can be brilliant and be imperfect. We already know we're imperfect, So it's just so empowering to see it happening both at the same time.
I agree with you. I think we have to do everything we can to ensure that women's voices are heard and also to inspire other women. That's what I was talking with you on the beginning of the podcast. My intention is for us to fire up girls and young women, and we need more role models to encourage and motivate them to achieve their personal and wider ambitions. A confident public speaker can inspire people into action. And I really like your program. And I was doing an online search and I found out there is another group called She Speaks. And they are the largest community of women who get the chance to try products, share opinions, and partner with brands that market to women. But your program is different. Can you tell me a little bit about She Speaks?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My program is definitely geared toward speakers and people who want to be speakers. So it is. I have seen that other program She Speaks up there, but this one I'm probably going to have to change the name as I go national. But my She Speaks is really about what you were talking about before about handling the nerves that come up. And I got to tell you, the nerves come up at every new level. So whether you're just going on the stage and you have nerves, or if you've been on smaller stages for a while, like let's say in your local town, you've spoken before, let's say you get asked to go to the next town over, asked to do a talk at startup week or something like that. Every new stage, you're going to have this new level of nerves. So it's not just a one time thing where, as soon as you've been on the stage, now they all disappear. Like you said, they don't really go away. And my differentiator, I think, is that I'm not going to ever tell you to just get over it. Just get over the nerves. I don't actually believe in pushing through the nerves. Maybe a time or two you'll get away with it. But what I actually want to teach women is to go underneath the nerves. And I know that sounds weird, but truly, if you have been a creative or a performer or anything, you may have heard, like I've heard in my life, to get out of my head, right? Get out of your head. Just loosen up, relax, get out of your head. But nobody told me where to go. Okay, how do I get out of my head? Where the heck do I go? And my part of my training is to help you figure out where to go. And the big secret is go into your body. Come down, sink into your body. It's very hard to be stressed out when you're aware of your feet on the floor, you're aware of your body in space. You can even feel it right now. Just put some attention down into your feet and kind of tap the floor with your feet. Those listening to the podcast, just give it a try wherever you are. When you can feel yourself as a whole body in space, it's actually harder to be stressed out and nervous. So, all we got to do is actually bring our entire self, our whole body on stage. Instead of being like a little head on a stick, our body's just there to transport us around, but we're living in our head, we're living in our self consciousness, we're living in, oh, what do other people think of me? Instead of focusing on those thoughts, you just focus your thoughts on your feet, focus your thoughts on your body, and really show up in a totally different way. This is what people see when they say, oh, that person just has it. They have that it factor. They have that je ne sais quoi. They have the mojo. What they're seeing is just a fully present human being who's bringing their entire self onto the stage. And it's just such a different experience of somebody.
I really admire your work, Amanda. I'm doing this right now, trying to read. And I don't know if you know, but the way I got in touch with your work is because I had a coaching client who was attending to your classes. And I
Mm,
was struggling helping her to create her video to include on her website. And then she started doing your classes. She became better and better. And then we were able to write an ideal script. We recorded a video and it was amazing. And she said, I will need to use this on my She Speaks class. They will be so proud of me.
yes, and we are so proud of her. She's an awesome person.
So I think it really works. And the idea of putting ourselves out there in a way that we are subjecting ourselves to make ourselves vulnerable to others, and this doesn't feel good. People really are afraid of public speaking in general because their subconscious are afraid that if they make any mistakes, they will be judged.
Mhm.
So we tend to stay away and quiet, just as a survival instinct to protect ourselves from criticisms. How can we overcome that? And that's what you can learn and dedicate your time. But I think what you said at the beginning is right. The majority of the people speaking are males. And why do you think women are less likely to speak in public than men?
Yeah, I think it goes to exactly what you said. It's afraid of criticism. And when we generally think of public speaking and having to be this perfect, polished version of ourselves that's putting on a good show, that I'm informative, I'm entertaining, I'm funny, I'm likable, it's like a long list of shoulds up there on a stage. And you know what? Women already have a long list of shoulds that they're trying to do in their daily lives, and I think they have more shoulds than men. And so, why would any woman in her right mind get up on a stage and agree to even a longer list of shoulds with even more people eyes on her, criticizing her potentially, right? There's a big risk factor if you look at it like that for somebody to go on stage. And so for me, I feel that it's my job to usher in a new era of public speakers who are not trying to be the most perfect, poised, polished versions of themselves, Because you know what? We don't really want that anymore as audience members. We can see a pre recorded, polished performance anytime we want. Flip on the TV. Watch somebody who's rehearsed and edited and makeup and all that stuff. What we're looking for on stage is realness. Somebody to be real with us for a moment, take off the mask, take off the armor, and share those vulnerable moments on stage with us. And yes, that I do think that that takes practice in stage presence for the speaker. I think it takes a transformation where the speaker starts to feel really safe and comfortable in their own skin, and they're able to go up on stage and be real, flaws and all, sharing those been there moments. Would you rather hear from a teacher who just came out of the womb, perfect and poised in this topic that you're struggling with, or would you rather hear from a teacher who's been there, who's made all the mistakes, who has, walked the path, and who now is a trusted guide that can show you the way?
I
But
totally agree with you. Yes, speaking from the heart, I can say that's the most important part of it. And I have here some recommendations for you to start really investing in developing those skills. And first of one is to attract opportunities. We need more women in senior positions, and people who can present confidently are in better positions to attract opportunities for their career. Females entrepreneurs can grow their business. I think you can also influence others. It's so important. You have to share your message to develop your confidence. This is so, so important. And can you tell us how can we get out of our own way and get seen and heard on stage and out in the world?
yeah, I think there's a few mindset shifts, like I said, that can help people, women especially, get out of their head, get out of that self consciousness. And I shared one with you already, is working on your body awareness, presence, showing up as a full human for sure. Another huge one that I think can help people get out of the way is to actually go from thinking that your speech is about you and how you show up and what other people are going to think of you, and actually start to tailor your entire speech to be transformational to the audience. Okay, so instead of being informational or entertaining in your speech, why not craft a speech that takes your talk, your message, off of you, the limelight off of you, and actually hands it over to your audience to engage with in a new way and get a transformation right there. So, how I like to do this is I help my speakers craft their speech all around an interesting transformational activity, or sometimes even a game, that the audience can play that gives them a breakthrough right there in the moment and sort of forces them to engage with your topic how it relates to them. So I like to say this is the difference between them just sitting and watching TV. You can go up on the stage, and if you never engage with your audience, they just sit back and they just kind of watch you like they're watching TV, right? But what if you require them to engage with a partner or a worksheet or a game that takes the focus off of you and puts it right where it should be with them getting a transformation? That can actually help the speaker totally rearrange what they have in their mind as, uh-oh, what's everyone going to think of me? And help them see, oh, this is about my audience. Okay, what is the audience going to think about themselves when they walk out the door? This is the era of transformational speaking. No longer informational or even inspirational. This is transformational speaking here. And that's how I think we're going to get out of our way here as women.
And can you tell the difference between inspirational speaker and a transformation one?
Yeah, yeah. Inspirational speaking is going to light them up with ideas, maybe even a mindset shift, which is powerful. There's no knocking that, as far as, sometimes that's the perfect thing. right? But transformational is when you can give them an experience where they see themselves as and the world differently when they walk out. And they're now going to take different action. So you're not just giving them an idea that's changing, and you're not just filling them up with inspirational stories sometimes leave us with this sweet taste in our mouth. Oh, that was such a great, inspiring story. How nice for that person, right?
Mhm.
I've got a story that could inspire people. I've been through some tough stuff in my life, but that doesn't do them any good unless we make sure that they've related it to their own lives and that they're going to pop up out of those seats and walk out and do something different.
I totally agree with you. That's so important. So this is not on my script, but I'll tell you anyway.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard for you to create a podcast in a language that's not your first language. And the way I do it is by studying and digging into the concept and preparing a script to myself. And that's okay to do mistakes because we are here just to help you out, to serve. And this is my intention when I create a podcast. So putting your heart in everything you do and sharing your ideas, I think that's the most important thing as well.
Oh man, Bettina, I think your mistakes, like I said, they allow space for everyone to make mistakes. There's nobody walking around out there perfect, and women have, in my experience, felt a lot of heavy weight on their mistakes. Like it makes them not ready enough for the next position or something like this. And it's a bummer because men are walking around out there making the same amount of mistakes, not feeling bad about it at all. It's just not the
All
same
right.
weight on it.
And how can we use more our authenticity? Sometimes our authenticity can impact our credibility, our professionalism, and the bottom line. How can we be more authentic?
Yeah, actually, I have seen that when you show up fully present and authentic and you feel safe with what you're sharing, you feel safe to feel and share the vulnerable bits. I have actually seen that increase your credibility with the topic because you're not afraid to share the deep stuff, the dark stuff, the stuff that nobody else will say. That builds your credibility, actually. Sharing your mistakes shows that you've been there, and it can definitely build your professionalism because now you can handle if people come to you with a problem. You've shown that you can handle it. So it absolutely has the power to increase those things. And as far as your bottom line, I mean, to me, there is nothing that has increased my bottom line faster than showing up as real as I can be because real people with real problems, now I've opened the door for them to work with me. So if you want to see people rush you after you've been on stage, show up with a real heartfelt story and you will hear the stories from the audience. They will come up and tell you, oh my gosh, that could have been me. Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you've gone through. I've had people say things to me. I treasure these comments when people say, wow, you know, I thought we were just here to see a speaker, but you're the real deal.
That's
What a
so
better
true.
compliment can you get? Like you want to be real. It's just it's amazing.
And I can tell you, I have a strong belief that every time you can teach someone how to do things, that's when you really learn it. That's why I teach people how to create podcasts because it was a struggle for me. It still is difficult, but by teaching others, I really dig into, I try to be better every time, and I love doing it. So being authentic and sharing your knowledge with others makes a huge change. You mentioned something about transformational games. Can
Mm.
you tell us a little bit more about what are transformational games and how can we use this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this is my favorite topic. Transformational games are what you can build into your talk to, like I said, get that audience engagement through the roof. So it's just more fun to set it up as a game with, an objective and a point and something that people can win. Sometimes that's really fun for an audience. So, you want to play one right now, real quick here,
Yeah,
Bettina?
I would love to. My dog is snoring here. I don't know if you guys can hear, but she's snoring, but I cannot let her go.
I
Right
don't think I
around.
can hear her. I'm trying to listen for it, but no, I don't think I can hear
Yes, I would
her.
love to do the game.
Okay, so here's a great game. You could play this with any audience. You could play it with your family, anyone who's listening, just see how this hits you. But this is a great way to test if you're a game person or not, really, and it's a subtle game. So if you're interested at all in transformational games, this might be one that tests that. Okay. So what you need to do is just think of a topic in your world that feels difficult and challenging right now.
Should I tell or not?
Yeah, you want to tell us? Sure.
Yes, I think equality right now, it's really huge.
Equality.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. And is that showing up in your personal world in some way, Bettina?
Yes, because I'm a foreigner, so I think so, and a female.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, great. That's a good one. Let's hold that one, and I'll share mine too. I'm going to do a slightly more concrete, but also more surface level, perhaps, um, difficulty, which is my basement recently flooded, and my insurance is giving me, some grief about covering it. Okay, so it feels really difficult and sticky. Okay, so we are going to play the game for the next few minutes and really for the entire day of what if it's easy or what if it's fun? So we're going to take this challenge, and instead of going into taking our thoughts into all the muck that we generally think of around this topic, we're going to point our thoughts in the direction of what if it's easy? What if it's fun? Okay. So if I can't get to what if it's easy, if I can't see any way that this difficult subject could be easy, I can usually get to what if it's fun? What if I actually enjoy the path to solving this? And it's just a game, Bettina, okay? I'm not saying it is fun or it is going to be easy. I'm just saying, what if the path were to be fun or easy? Does that make sense?
I'm already imagining everything that I can do if it were easy. I will start doing all my courses, record a podcast in Spanish. I will do everything.
Wow! Oh my gosh. Okay. So you just had a shift here. Beautiful. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you can see how it just opens up a new doorway to walk through, a new list of possibilities, a new list of actions to take. And this is not me telling you now you got to go take all those actions either. It's what if it's easy? What if it's fun? And does that fire me up in a different way? Does that get me moving in a different way? And so, to me, Bettina, you have proven you are up for transformational games. They will resonate with you. You are open to change. You are primed and ready to move forward in your life. And all you need is a couple of great questions at the right time to unlock anything that feels difficult and yucky for you. You are a
I,
transformational game pro.
I think this is like changing a limit belief people have, isn't it?
Yes, it is a lot like that. And that's why coaches are great transformational speakers. They already know the questions to ask. They just need to kind of format them for the stage and format them for a group instead of just a one on one client.
Uh-huh.
But geez, as soon as we do that, we put that into your talk, boom, your audience leaves with a list. And by the way, they are forever connected to you because you're the one that asked that question. So that's why
That's
I
a
love it.
transformational thing. Thank you.
Yeah,
And what
my
is
pleasure.
one way you know we are meant to be on bigger stage?
Okay, here's my one way you know you're meant for a bigger stage. If you've ever been called too much of this or that, you need a bigger stage because maybe you were too much for that particular situation, but you'll never be too much for a big stage with lots of people. You can have all the energy, all the bigness that you want. It's incredible. But I also have to say, if you've ever thought you were not enough, get on a bigger stage because all of those little subtle things, one of my favorite type of people to work with is introverts because introverts have already a lot more body awareness and presence than extroverts I've found. So that journey is quicker for them of developing stage presence. And the other reason is that you can be really subtle on a stage. You can be very nuanced, and the audience will pick it up because they are honed into you. So if you've ever felt you were not enough in some situation, get on a stage and be yourself, and it will be more than enough. More than enough.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. I can tell my story when I got my click that I needed to start putting my voice out. I just did that speaking training that I mentioned to you, and I was still living in Brazil, and my grandmom died. And I helped organize the funeral and everything because my aunts, my uncles, they were so sad. My father already passed away, so he wasn't there. But everybody was so sad, so nervous because she was really old. She was 94. And she used to be a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher. And nobody was willing to speak at her funeral
Oh,
and step up to do it. I was the youngest one. I said, but I think I can do it. I know what she meant for everybody. So I started writing like a letter of my gratefulness for her, everything that I felt grateful for, how she changed my life, and start collecting stories on how she changed people's life. And I was able to speak during her funeral, and everybody was crying. I said, it was so important for my family, for someone to step up and speak the truth and speak whatever they wanted to speak, and they couldn't at that moment.
mm,
And I played one of her meditations at the end, and it was so emotional. It was perfect. I think it was my best speak ever.
mm.
And it really inspired me. If I could touch everybody's heart at that time, I think I can still do that for other people. So I keep trying. That's why I'm here.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful story, Bettina. I'm so glad you shared that because can you imagine the difference in that day if you hadn't spoken up? What a loss.
Yes.
What a
Sometimes just
loss.
keep quiet, and it's
Mm.
really, really hard.
And people don't have a place, a container to put all of their emotions. That's another thing that speaking does is it opens up the dialogue and discussion and gives people a place to experience those emotions, their own emotions, the emotions of the group, or in your case, the family. I mean, that was a beautiful gift you gave.
Yes, it really was a click for me. And I have some tips here to share with all of you guys that are listening to our podcast, things that works for me when I go speaking. As you said, feeling your body is really important, but the way I think I connect to my body is by breathing before I speak. And breathing for me is like a way for me to connect to the universe, to connect to myself internally, my feelings, not just my thoughts. So I really recommend you guys to really breathe deeply at least 10 times before you go to stage to feel this presence. The second thing that I do always is try to go first, because when you're waiting in line after a speaker, you're just paying attention what they're saying. You're thinking thoughts, oh, I'm gonna not be good, it's gonna be terrible, nobody's gonna like me, I'm not well prepared. So going first is like a relief. Oh, I did it, and you send your message. Just go first if it's possible. Prep for success, like I did today, like I always recommend. Try to write down your words and practice. Find a friend, practice in the mirror. I love my therapy dog because I practice all the speeches with her. Course, she just look at me and she never complains. I love her. And always, never aim for perfection. We will never be perfectionists. And you know this. You mentioned that. What do you think about being perfect, Amanda?
I
I think
mean,
you're
just
very
throw it out the window. Just throw it out. Don't even worry about it. Aim for being as real as you can. Aim for saying one more riskier thing than you said last time. Uh, it- can you do you I mean, doesn't everybody have memories? I have 1,000 because I've seen and trained so many speakers, but doesn't everybody have a memory of some time they were in a room watching a speaker or a performance, and you could just feel that sizzle, that crackle of the energy when something got real? When they went off script a little bit, or when they just their passion broke through, or they just, had a tear, right? Or they even just had some little tech difficulty that came about. We're looking for those moments of realness when you break the script and it's not canned. That's what gives a performance a real sizzle. So just aim for real, not perfection. We don't care about perfection. We want real.
Yeah, real life and a real change. I think we can do it. And you have an amazing offer. Can you tell us about what you're offering here? Like you have a call for everyone in our podcast that is listening to this podcast. Tell me more about how can you help our audience here? Audience.
Yes, I would love to have a call. I'm offering several of these right now because I just can't wait. I just love doing it. And it's not an obligation to buy anything or anything, but it's just a breakthrough call for 30 minutes. I would love to take you through a practice that can help you with some of that body awareness, stage presence coming underneath your nerves. So I call it a seen and heard breakthrough call. You are going to find yourself speaking so people listen more and more when you do this practice. And I can give you a really great experience of it just in 30 minutes and see if it's, part of your journey into speaker, into those high pressure moments, um, sales calls, things like that bring up triggers. So, yeah, would love to offer that to your people, Bettina.
Thank you for offering that. And all her information will be on the description of the podcast, her Facebook, her website, email, so you guys can contact Amanda and schedule this transformational call, as I can say. And I
That's right.
think we should keep one should. And the should is we should all refuse to be silenced. We are here to change the world. I truly believe that. I don't think we can afford more to be in silence. And
Mm.
I'm on a journey to develop my speaking skills in English, and nothing will stop me. I hope this podcast really encourage you to start your journey. I would encourage all of us to do our best to develop our courage, because this is the most important of all the virtues we can have. Because without courage, we can't practice any virtue that we have. So I hope you develop your courage. I hope you develop your public speaking skills, and I hope to see you in our next episode. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to Wisdom Woman Podcast. To hear past and future episodes, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast channel. We appreciate your reviews. To give us suggestions for future show topics, please write to us at podcast@witty.tech. If you're interested in having me as your trusted advisor, schedule a strategic coaching session on my website, www.witty.tech.